Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Pandaria. Welcome to the video talking about Legion, the new expansion for World of Warcraft. And it's been an expecting video. Some of you have been asking about it, some of you have been thinking about it, and we get it. So, anyway, Legion. Let's go ahead and talk about that. What are we getting? Level 110 level cap. Demon Hunters. Illidan. Emerald Dream or Nightmare. 9 dungeons. 2 raids. New continents. Valkyr. What else are we getting? More elf cities. Torn with antlers, with moose antlers, which I think is silly as it is. Bullwinkle, yeah, I think I about covered it. Oh, also yeah, the prestige system for the PvP, the new honor system. All right, let's go ahead and break everything down. First of all, I gotta say, right from the start, the presentation at Gamescom was pretty bad. It was not inspiring. It was not exciting. It was kind of like. You could see even in the crowds, a lot of people were like, what the hell is going on here? Why am I here? I'm so lost. I might show actually some of the pictures of the crowd. I was able to actually watch the live stream, and God, I swear, it's just... It was not good. The presentation, granted, supposedly this expansion was worked on since Pandaria, and I do not see the confidence of the expansion that was worked on since Pandaria. For example, like what I want to see when a developer comes out to, a convention is what I saw at, watching a video of E3 when Bethesda came out, Bethesda came out and just took the big balls that were carrying the big balls in their hands and dropped it on the stage and says, look at this cool fucking game, Fallout 4, here's what we got. They just had confidence, they had the swag, they had the swab, they just came out, they're like, look at this game, this is a cool fucking game. I didn't see that. I didn't see even a hint of confidence from the Blizzard WoW devs. I have not seen any confidence at all. We got some guys that talked about the lore, which he tried to be funny and then took a picture of everybody in the crowd. I didn't really like him. They should have came out with Chris Metzen. If you want somebody to tell the lore and the tale of what's going on in the expansion, you get Chris Metzen, not some random guy. You get Chris Metzen. You get the hype man. Out of all the people, you gotta get Thrall there. By the way, if you do not know, I believe Chris Metzen is the voice of Thrall. Anyway, you want to get Chris Metzen out there to be the hype man, to be like, look at this lore. This lore is great and awesome, and we're not gonna get orcs, we're gonna get the Legion. I'm trying to imitate his voice, but I'm doing an awful job at it. You want to get, you want to get Chris Metzen out there. Then Ian Hazzikostas comes over, talks about different game modes and different level caps and whatever. The weapons, the artifact weapons and all that. And then the last guy just looked very nervous, very uncomfortable. I felt really bad for him, actually. He looked like he had a very hard time talking about the Demon Hunters. They looked very nervous. They did not look confident about what they were presenting. They did not look ecstatic about what they were presenting. It seemed like they will tiptoe and be like, well, we're gonna have, just the World of Warcraft Legion, and we're gonna have a level cap of 100. Like, no, you're supposed to not tiptoe around the expansion. You come out there with your big balls, drop them on the stage, and be like, look at this expansion. This expansion is called Legion, and it's awesome. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't tiptoe around, right? I mean, is it just me? I didn't want to see just a bunch of developers come around and tiptoe and be like, well, we have this in expansion, then expansion. No, you come out there with confidence, say, hey, guys, how's it going? This is World of Warcraft Legion, and it's going to be epic because A, B, C, D, and we got features such as A, B, C, D, and, we're going to have things like 1, 9 dungeons, 2 raids, these kind of raids, those kind of dungeons. Come out with confidence or suave. You're supposed to come out there and be the hype man for the expansion. You're supposed to bring up the hype. Not be like, we got World of Warcraft, we got level 100 Legion, and the Illidan and Demon Hunters. No. Have a little bit more confidence. You're trying to be the hype man for this thing. You're not talking about this at BlizzCon. You're talking about this at a different convention because obviously the sub numbers are going down. You're supposed to hype the game up. You're supposed to get people excited. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and talk about the itty bitty things. All the tidbits. Level 110 cap. I think it's a bad idea. Literally, nerf it to like 80, 70 if you want to, but at least 80. Make the level cap 80 for everything. Nerf all of the game to level 80, or like nerf everything to level 80. Instead of making the human starting zone, Elven Forest, I think that's what the name is. Instead of making it level 1 through 10, make it levels 1 through 5. Don't change how long you gotta go to level from level 1 to 10 to 1 to 5. Keep it the same length. Just make it so people don't grind from level 1 to 10, they grind to level 1 through 5. That's it. And just nerf levels for the entire game, which is something Nixia Machinima has said, and I completely agree with him, strongly agree with him. That's a great idea and fantastic idea. Level 100, I mean, how do you tell a new player that you have to grind through all 110 levels? It's like, hey, John, you heard about World of Warcraft Legion? Oh, I did. What? How many levels you gotta grind through it? All 110. Come again? Oh yes, all 110. Once you use your character boost to level 100, every other character has to grind through level 110, except Death Knights and Demon Hunters. Okay. What's the level cap for Guild Wars 2? I heard about that game. Oh, level cap for Guild Wars 2 is level 80. Okay, what about ESO and Final Fantasy? I believe it's 60. Okay, I'll go with those games. That seems a little bit more reasonable. See what I mean? A level 110 is unreasonable. It's a ridiculous number. How can you expect a new player, a brand new player, a potential customer, Timmy, he just got his new computer, he's got his gaming computer, he's like, oh boy, I want to get into World of Warcraft. And it's like, oh no, I have to grind through 110 levels. My life is ruined. It's just ridiculous. Nerf the levels. It's just ridiculous to have 110 levels. 100, it was enough. It was ridiculous enough. After that, you should just nerf it. Next is Demon Hunter. I don't know about you guys, but as cool as the spec is, I mean, it looks really cool and has, 2 specs and all that. It felt like it had a lot of borrowed abilities. I mean, it had like pretty much like a pseudo warrior charge, a pseudo warlock AoE stun, a pseudo disengage for hunters where you dodges any ability and any spell. So if a big boss is like gonna be hitting you for 1,000,000 health, you just dodge it. It's like, oh, whoop, nothing. No, don't worry about it. Or if just chaos bolt is flying right at you, just dodge it. Like, oh, the chaos ball just flies into the ground. It's lost its track, lost its course. Or if a rogue is about to death from above on you, just disengage and the rogue just misses. Which, I mean, I guess that'd be kind of cool since assassination rogues hit for a lot. So I heard. Other than that, it seems like a lot of borrowed abilities from one of the classes like Metamorphosis, Disengage, Warrior Charge, Warlock Stun. It seems like a lot of borrowed abilities. I feel like even the laser was a borrowed ability from Warlocks as well. I don't know. Class itself looks kind of cool, but I feel like it's just a lot of fan service. Actually, just in the entire expansion feels like a giant fan service. You know what they need to add to actually, you know what they need to do to increase the fan service? Add a boob slider like they do in Final Fantasy. Just plot intensifies for everything. Just a boob slider for everything. Just plot everywhere. That's you truly fan service players, right? Oh my god. Anyway, back to the point. 9 dungeons sounds pretty cool. They got Valhalla. They got the the Warden's Pit. They got Eye of Ajara, which I'm not sure if it's in the name only. It sounds impressive. I have not seen what it looks like yet. Probably maybe one of those dungeons will get cut. Who knows? The expansions looks like they are giving us an Emerald Dream or Emerald Nightmare raid. So I guess they got that covered. They got they got the Demon Hunter fanboys covered. They got Illidan fanboys covered. They got Emerald Dream Nightmare fanboys covered. They got Legion fanboys covered. They got more Valkyrie lore and story and zones. So they got the Valkyrie fanboys covered. It's like they're covering different fan bases or different types of fanboys and like trying to appeal to all of them. That's kind of what it feels like to me with this expansion. I don't know. Although a lot of people are saying like Blizzard does a little bit, they get blamed for not doing a lot. Blizzard does all out like this, like they do with Legion, they get blamed for being desperate or something like that. But at the same time, they even bring in Dalaran back as a neutral city. It's like out of all the things you could be bringing back and have people fanboy over you, even bring back Dalaran. Out of all the things, making an original neutral city is so difficult. You just bring Dalaran, which I'm not really complaining much about. I mean, yes, I see there's like, obviously you're trying to appeal to the people of Wrath Nostalgia. That's why you bring in Dalaran as a neutral city. Clearly. And because it's just easier than putting in new neutral city. Just retexture Dalaran. Add in, redone dungeon for it or something like that. Recycle content. That's not really that, not really surprising for World of Warcraft. But at the same time, it's like, I see what you're doing. I kind of like it. I don't mind. I actually like the fact that we'll get a neutral city, and you know, I don't mind it being Daron, but I'm seeing what you're doing behind the scenes. I'm like, I see what you did there. I'm seeing what you did there. I'm not. Don't let this video be a, like, I guess a signifier that I'm against the expansion. There's some things that look very appealing, but some things I'm like, I see it, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not really keen on it. Not really buying it right now. Because really, it's just an announcement. It's just a lot of false promises and a lot of, you know, there's no validation that those promises are going to actually happen yet. They pulled a politician in World of Draenor where I promised a lot of things, but gave us maybe like 10% of what they promised, or, you know, whatever reasonable percentage you would like to think is reasonable. And then they might just pull the same thing for this expansion. Who knows? I'm just going to be keeping my hands out of it. Gonna stay a skeptic and gonna keep just observing. If I get into the beta of Legion, I will gladly, you know, run around, try everything out, and see what is all out, and see what things are being, you know, cut out, what things are being left as they are. But yeah, right now, artifact weapons, I feel like that's just another way to make people feel like a little special cookie for doing nothing. I mean, out of all the things, you take these legendary epic weapons, right? You take these legendary epic weapons like Ashbringer or the Doomhammer and stuff like that, and Frostmourne. You take those epic legendary weapons, right? And those weapons that are just very rare and were very iconic to certain heroes of the lore. And you like say, oh, everybody gets one. You know what it does to the value of the weapon? Makes it devaluable. It's like, oh, every single paladin is running around with an Ashbringer of a sword, and every single Death Knight is going to be running around with a pseudo Frostmourne, and every single shaman is going to be running around, enhancement shaman is going to be running around with a pseudo Doomhammer or stuff like that. You know, it's just at that point, it's like you just devaluing the epic weapons that you've put into the lore and just letting just average Joe run around with it. I mean, I don't mind the fact that they want to put artifact weapons in, but don't make it like Ashbringer, Frostmourne, and Doomhammer. Make it something new, unique, cool. Allow people to customize their own weapons. Make their own epic weapons out of the pieces of those weapons. Let's say Ashbringer broke, and the only thing you get is a little signet that was, like, you know, with a fist on it or whatever. That's the only thing you can recover. So you rebuild Ashbringer as either you can make a replica that looks sort of like Ashbringer, but a new version. You can make Ashbringer look like something else. They redesign the weapon. Maybe put that little segment on a shield and make Ashbringer into a shield this time around. That kind of stuff, you know? Now that would be a little bit cooler in my opinion. Although I do like what Death Knights are doing. They're collecting the shards to recreate, like Frost Death Knights will be able to create 2 blades out of the shards that they will get from, you know, from Lich King, the Lich King Icecrown Citadel. That's what I'm thinking about, or something along the lines of that. I don't mind, you know, I don't mind new weapons, new unique weapons, but just recollecting all weapons from the lore, it's like, I mean, I understand the adding customization and all that, and part of me kind of feels like that's just another gateway for more things to be added to the Blizzard store. Be like, oh, well, we got, you know, like 4 new looks for your Ashbringer for like $5.99. It's just a lot of more things that they could easily be adding to the Blizz store, which, I mean, they're already adding mounts and releasing mounts every single sub drop, so I guess that's going somewhere. Subs are dropping, but profit is increasing. Stuff like that. I could see weapon customizations and weapon appearance be put on the Blizzard store, to be honest. I could definitely see something like that. And they introduce more weapon customizations at every single sub drop at the release of Legion. Anyway, moving on. The PvP system, the new PvP system, looks pretty cool. I can't really say much about it until I see a little bit more of it, but the prestige system does look kind of neat. The guild halls, not the guild halls, the order halls, the class halls. I feel like that's going to be just another pseudo Garrison 2.0 from what I've seen. So apparently you're supposed to be able to send followers on missions, scouting missions and stuff like that. I can see that they're going to be just introducing Apexis dailies again. Like, oh, you send this follower out to scout out for Apexis missions to do, Apexis dailies to do in this zone or that zone. It's going to be ridiculous. Jesus. What I'm hoping that this is going to be the expansion that will be actually really fun, very, very entertaining, and that will actually do something a little bit more with the game, like under the hood, not with the paint that they're already putting on, you know, on the outside, on the rusty outside that is World of Warcraft, but actually go under the hood, into the engine, actually do something fun with it. Because from what I've seen from ever since Wrath of Lich King, ever since after Wrath of Lich King, they started removing things from the engine, removing the complicated town trees, and removing town trees in general, removing ability pruning and stuff like that, and making classes simple, removing uniqueness from classes. And at that point, I'm like, no, you just removing things from the actual engine while putting a new nice coated paint and new interior into the car. That's not the way to do it. That's just not the way to do it, because at this point, you just painting over the rust. You're just painting over and over and over. And like my friend Lux has said before, you're just painting over the rust of the game. That's all it is. Instead, what you should do, I mean, granted, since this expansion was worked on since Mr. Pandaria, I would expect for them to actually go under the hood, actually replace some of the rusted parts, and actually make, redesign the actual hood of the, redesign what's under the hood, redo what's under the hood, fix it up, add more things under the hood, as well as remove the rusted parts and replace them with shiny new parts, and then paint a nice coat of paint over it, rather than painting over the rust every single time. Be like, oh, it's a new car. Paint again. Oh, it's another new car. It looks the same, except it has a smaller engine every single time. Just things are being taken out of the engine every single time. That's kind of what I feel about World of Warcraft. Just they're putting more shiny paint over it, but at the same time moving things out of the engine more and more and more and more to just simplify the game. I mean, the rotations for most classes are 3 or 4 abilities at this point. What are they gonna do? Ability to prune more to 2 or 1 abilities? Warrior is gonna be just have 1 ability they can spam outside of the auto attack. It just wham or bam. They're gonna call Overpower. They're just gonna be able to spam Overpower all the time. That's it. And then every 6 seconds, Overpower. And then every other 6 seconds, Overpower. Feel bad for Warriors at this point. That's gonna make playing your class very difficult and very boring, won't it? It's just, oh my god. After World of Draenor, I'm very skeptical. I'm very skeptical. And I'm not gonna give in to the hype. I don't want to give in to the hype until I see something worth being excited about. I was burned out by World of Draenor, so I want to see, what if the money I'm going to be paying for, if I do pay money for this expansion, is going to be even worth it. Because I pay $50 for World of Draenor. I don't play World of Draenor anymore. I don't pay my subscription. For Final Fantasy 14, I paid, for the base game, and I also paid for the expansion. I paid $40 for the expansion. I put in more hours into the actual expansion, from level 50 to 60. Of Final Fantasy, more hours than I did into World of Draenor, and I've maybe played for 4.5 months of Final Fantasy. Yeah. I'm having more fun in Final Fantasy right now, and I feel like I paid, I got my money's worth in Final Fantasy rather than in World of Draenor. And I mean, I'm not sure if that's saying much, but I'm a happy customer when it comes to Final Fantasy. I'm not that happy when it comes to World of Draenor. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are unhappy. They have almost 50% of people that dropped off. When the game first started, it was at 10 million. Now it's 5.6 million. Clearly, a lot of people feel the same way that I do. They just don't feel like it's just worth the money, and they drop the game. And some people may say 5 million, 10 million. What's the big difference? The thing is, there's a decline. There's a serious decline. From Vanilla to Wrath of Lich King, there was mostly an incline. From there to Pandaria, there was, slight decline, but still stable. But here, it's they rose up to 10 million, and they lost practically half of people. And what do you expect is going to happen in quarter 3? Probably not a lot of people are going to be buying into the hype of this expansion. Probably not a lot of people are going to be coming back. So it's going to drop even lower. Yeah, it's a pretty big thing. Wow, surprising, right? It can actually drop lower than that. Freaking surprise. A lot of people think, 5.6 mil is not bad. It's still better than, last expansion, next running MMO. Yeah, it's gonna drop even lower after that. And how low does it have to drop before you start realizing, oh, well, shit, there's something wrong with World of Warcraft. I need to, at what point do you stop and think, wait a minute, this is a freaking problem? How low do you want the subs to drop before, all the WoW fanboys start freaking out? Do you want it to drop to 3 million, 2 million, 1 million, 500,000, 250,000, 200,000? 100,000, how low do you need to be before you start realizing, oh shit, that's actually a problem? Because think about it, business-wise, it's a pretty big problem, because if it keeps dropping, that's going to be less profit for the shareholders. They're probably not going to want to, pay, have those shares for Blizzard whatsoever. Right now, they're still sticking around because they're still taking out profit. But at the moment, WoW could be going, kind of on a decline in its popularity. Yeah, I mean, it's popular right now as it isn't. Clearly has more subs than, supposedly the next best running MMO, which is, Final Fantasy 14. But at the same time, how low do you want World of Warcraft have to get before you start realizing, oh shit, that's a problem, I should probably care for it? I mean, as a player, do you not want your game to succeed? Do you not want your game to do well? I mean, I want World of Warcraft to do pretty well. I want to be able to come back to World of Warcraft with, a happy grin and be like, hey, I'll play World of Warcraft gladly. I'll give it a try again. I'll have fun. I want to be able to see World of Warcraft succeed. But right now, it's just not worth my money, which is why I'm not paying for the sub fee. Just not worth it. What World of Draenor offers is just, I see nothing fun in it. I see nothing exciting in it. Gearing, I can just sit in my garrison and send missions, send my minions on missions every like 2.5 weeks to get me mythic gear or mythic warforged gear, not even lift a finger for it. Honor points, I can send my followers to grind me honor points like every other day, no problem. Yes, and that's actually a thing. I get like honor point. I will get like honor points missions every other day, so I wouldn't have to grind honor points like ever. There was no incentive for it. There was no reason for me to get out of the garrison or to do anything in the garrison. I just send followers and missions and sit back and watch the mythic gear, the money, and the honor points just float in, just flood into me, and do nothing for it. Not even lift a finger. Not even show effort. But in Final Fantasy, I'm actually getting my money's worth, and I'm happy. I'm satisfied. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a very satisfying experience with it, which is why I think it's worth me. If World of Draenor, if anything in World of Draenor is enjoyable for you, and you really enjoy it, like you really enjoy, I don't know, the PvP in it, if you really enjoy the raiding and LFR in it, that is freaking good for you. I'm very happy for you. If you're very satisfied with World of Draenor, I think that is absolutely wonderful and beautiful, and I think you should still be satisfied with it and not let my personal opinion of the expansion ruin your experience. I think you should have all the fun you want in World of Draenor if you have fun. Ignore, don't take my opinion close to heart. Take it with a grain of salt because it's just an opinion like anybody else's opinion. That's all it is. It's an opinion. It's not right. It's not wrong. It's an opinion. And if you enjoy it, freaking good for you. If you're excited for Legion, good for you. But me personally, I'm just not going to be giving into the hype. Simple as that. I don't want to give into the hype. I'm skeptical. I'm a skeptic. I want to make sure that what I'm paying for is money's, is worth the money I'm paying for. World of Draenor was $50 down the drain for me. Heaven's Ward was $40 well spent because I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun. I'm having a great time. I'm interacting with people. I'm not sitting alone in an antisocial garrison. I'm actually interacting with my free company, working for the gear in the dungeons that actually matter in order to get into the raiding. That's actually really fun. I'm working for things in the game, and it makes me feel satisfied. It makes me enjoy it. Makes me feel like I'm actually doing something worthwhile in Final Fantasy. Right now, in World of Draenor, it's just not for me. It's just not my expansion. And yeah, simple as that. This has just been my video and my, rant end for Legion. Am I gonna be getting it? I don't know. Though I'm excited for it. I don't know. Am I gonna buy into the hype? No. But for now, I'm just gonna be waiting and seeing what's happening. But so far, there's some things I kind of like and some things I'm not impressed with at all. So yeah. Most of all, Blizzard, please work on your presentation. Please get Chris Metzen out to be your hype man. If you're introducing a new expansion, you don't want just 3 guys tiptoeing and be like, oh, we're gonna have this feature and that feature. You want to come in there with big, confident balls, drop on the stage, be like, this is World of Warcraft Legion. Check it out. That's it. That's all you need. That's all you need. You just need Chris Metzen to do that. He literally carries your hype team. He's the hype team carrier. He knows how to get people excited. So get on board with it and actually get Chris Metzen to announce expansions every now and then. Unless Chris Metzen left as well. Because a bunch of WoW developers, a bunch of WoW people have been leaving a lot. So maybe Chris Metzen did leave as well. Or maybe he moved on to Overwatch because he feels like there's more, there's more juice behind Overwatch. Who knows? Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and go and do a video right here. Can speak. I'm going to go ahead and go and end the video right over here. At this point, my name is Pandaria. Like, subscribe, and as always, have a great day. Leave me your feedback and opinion in the description below. Let me know what you think.